Hello and welcome back to Penguin Crafts. Today I'm going to show you how to do a layered card. So as you can see, I've got 4 beautiful cards here using the layering technique. If I just hold them up for you. So this one has got some of our gorgeous Speciality Designer Series paper on it, with a sentiment that said, if you could see my face, you'd see the smile you'd put on it, which I think is a lovely sentiment, which is from the Thankful Thoughts stamp set. Again, this is another layered one here, and I don't know if you can see, but I've used one of our embossing folders there. Hopefully you can see that, and I've used some ink on the cardstock as well. Absolutely beautiful. And again, the thank you so much sentiment is from the Thankful Thoughts. And then 2 more, again with the same sentiment. And that one's got a bit of the Speciality paper on again. So I thought today I'd just show you how to make a layered card, slightly different to these, but just show you the principles of how to make one. And then the options are endless. So if you'd like to see how, please keep watching. So the first thing you're going to need is your card base. And today I'm using some of our very vanilla cardstock. And this is going to be an A6 size standard card. So that's an A4 bit of paper cut in half long ways. So the width of that is 4 1/8. 4 1/8. And then you need to score at 5 7/8. Okay? So it's 4 1/8 wide by 5 7/8 long. We then need to create our first layer, and I've used the Bundle of Love Speciality Designer Series paper. So it is double-sided, it's gold on one and sort of matte on the other side. So my base is going to be the matte side. And what I've done is I've made this bit of cardstock 1/4 of an inch smaller than the base. So if you can see that, there's just that beautiful border all the way around. So this piece of cardstock here measures 3 7/8. Yeah, 3 7/8 by 5 5/8. So again, all I've done is taken 1/4 of an inch off each measurement. So that is our first one. So I'll glue that down. I'm using the fast fuse as that works really well on this. You could use tear tape. I just find fast fuse really quick and easy. And then all you need to do is just take a second and make sure, oh, I've got a hair stuck. Make sure you get it lined up correctly with the gap at the top. So just take a second. And line that up. Sorry, it's a bit dark here. Let me... Is that a bit better? Just alter my light. I think that's a bit better. So there's our first layer. The next thing we're going to have is a pink section. Sorry, that is a pool party. I think that's pool party. Let me just grab the book. Let's grab our catalogue and have a look. So let's flick through to our DSP. There it is. So as I've said, this is the Bundle of a Speciality paper. Sorry, it's Soft Sky. So the blue in this is Soft Sky, and the pink we are using is Blushing Bride. Okay. So the pink bit here, so the Blushing Bride is 1 3/4 of an inch by 4 1/2 inches. Okay. So that is going to be layered on. And then on top of that, I've got another piece of this cardstock. This time we're going to put the glossy Speciality side facing up. And that is 1 1/2 inches by 4 1/4. So again, that's 1/4 of an inch smaller on each side. So let's just stick those together. Again, with your fast fuse, all the way around the edges. I know a lot of people have issues with fast fuse, and there are different techniques. I tend not to take my fast fuse off during each one. I know a lot of people go around and do one side, take it off, and another. I tend to roll and rotate. So I'll show you that on the next one. I just find that causes less issues for me. So that's our next layer. The next bit we're going to do is made up of 3 elements. It's made up of a small section of very vanilla. So I tend to make my sentiment base match the cardstock base. And that is 2 3/4 by 2 3/4. We then have the blue layer, which is 3 inches by 3 inches. So again, 1/4 of an inch bigger. And the last layer is the pink, which is 3 1/4 by 3 1/4. So the first thing we're going to do is do our stamping, and we are going to use one of the sentiments from the Thankful Thoughts set, and I'm going to use the thank you so much. So just take a second and line up your stamp on the block. Okay, and then this bit of cardstock is just big enough, so I'm just going to line that up again, and fingers crossed. Oh sorry, I've just realised I've got a lot of shadow. I will fix this for my next video. So we just need to make sure we get this nice and inked. There's always a bit on my stamp that doesn't ink, so I just have to make sure it's got that last little bit. Oh, I've got a hair again. Okay, and then what I'm going to do, I think my head's in the photo so I apologise in the view, is line that up and stamp. Okay, and there we go. So as always, I am just going to clean my stamp. My stamp and scrub is currently being cleaned, so I'm just using a bit of a rag, which I would not advise, but I just need to do this quickly. Okay, so we now have all of our elements together. So we can start by layering these. So again, we need to put the fast fuse. So here we go. So I go along, and instead of lifting it like normal people would doing that, I go along and I rotate the page so I'm still attached. Just by the little string, but I'm still attached, and I do it that way. I just find I have less issues with that. Have a go, see what you think. Let me know in the comments if that works for you, if you have any issues. Okay, and then the last piece, we're going to use some dimensionals and put that on here. I've seen discussion recently about people using too many dimensionals, or for people thinking too many dimensionals are being used. I tend to do one in each corner and one in the middle for good luck. It is completely up to you. The only thing to consider is the cost of them and are they needed. I probably only needed 4, I could have probably got away with 3. But I like them. And again, just line this up. Take a second and line that up. So now we need to work out how we want to have them. So as you can see on these cards, we've done a few different sort of styles. Okay, so let's do something a bit different again. I think I quite like it like that. Okay, so I'm going to go with that. So what I'm going to do is fast fuse again, turn and round. Oh, I went over the edge slightly there. So if you do, just push the bit of fuse back if you went too close. And then all I'm going to do is make sure I've got this the right way up, is roughly get the top and the bottom gap the same. Doesn't have to be perfect. Okay. And then work out where the sentiment's going to go. So I think I'm going to put it there. Okay. And again, each one of these will be very different. You can do plenty the same, but you can also, with slight tweaks, do them differently. But the main thing to remember is 1/4 inch. 1/4 inch all the way around makes a difference. Okay, and then lastly we're going to add a little bit of glitz. So we've got some of our basic jewels. Oh, I've lost one. And we're just going to, I've got a slight mark there. Let's see if you can see. I've got a slight mark there with a bit of ink, so that is an ideal place to put one of our gems. They cover 1,000 messes. So just that little bit. And there we go. So let's just show them all together. So there are 5 layering cards. Really sit really quick, really simple. So this video has taken me just under 10 minutes, but that includes an introduction, the bit I'm talking about now, and the explaining. But as you can see, they're really simple and really effective. I think sure anyone would love these. Just having that one layer lifted with the dimensionals really adds to it. I have to say this one is my favourite. I do love the Speciality Designer Series paper. All details will be listed on my blog. I may not put the dimensions, I might just list how we've done it with the 1/4 inch. If you'd like some dimensions for any of these cards, please let me know and I can add those onto the blog post for you. So my blog is www.penguincrafts.co.uk. Please give this a thumbs up and hit the subscribe button below if you like it. See you soon, guys!